to This Day. It is Tuesday, October 25th. A couple meetings to tell you about. We've got one at 9:30 this morning. It is the third resident policy and compliance, and it is in the boardroom as well as virtual. Then this afternoon at 1:30 in the boardroom, we have the United Finance Committee. Now on our show today, we talked to Robert Carroll, who is the Director of General Services, about the transportation plan. He's got lots of great information. And then we get to know Doug Phillips, who is a patient of RadNet, and he is a prostate cancer survivor, to tell us all about his procedure that he had called the TULSA. So he'll explain to us all of the benefits by having that type of procedure. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather. Well, it's been quite pleasant, very fall-like. I think there have been some trees changing the leaves a little bit from, they're green to orange. 75-58 today, tomorrow cooler 72-57, 73-58, also 73-58 on Friday, and then Saturday, very pleasant with 75-59. Our sunrise this morning was at 7:04. And our sunset will be at 6:05. Now, a couple of details for you to go over. The tennis courts 1 through 8 this week will be closed from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. They have a tennis club championship going on, and so you might want to call ahead to 949-268-2481 to see if you can get on a court after 1 p.m. And we've also got some other information for you, is that the Maintenance and Construction and Manor Alteration Division staff is going to have a contractor open house. So they're going to be displaying all of the things that they can help you with on your home on Thursday, October 27th. If you want more information about that, call 949-597-4616. All right, when we come back, we will have Robert Carroll, so stick around.
Laguna Niguel Hyundai used car sales event is going on now. Save now on over 250 used cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. All makes, all models. All price from $20,000 or less. Plus, we'll buy your current car, paid for or not, including lease buyouts with top dollar paid on the spot. Shop online anytime at LagunaNiguelHyundai.com at the 5 freeway at Avery Parkway.
Welcome back. As I mentioned, we have Robert Carroll, who is our Director of General Services, and he's got some great information for us today. Well, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good to be here.
Thanks for coming back. And this is a whole different thing because General Services really encompasses a variety of different things for the village. So, since we're on that subject, tell me a little bit about what the organization is responsible for, the department.
Right. Yeah. So if you go to the first slide here, this is a general organizational chart, and this is a presentation I made to the VMS board about a month ago. We had done so many budget presentations that I really wanted to really focus on not just the overview, but what the accomplishments of the department have been. So this first organizational chart here shows, a good overview of what we do. In general services admin, that's where we manage the trash, the solid waste recycling programs, and streets and sidewalks. So in addition to sidewalk, streets, that's where we have the street sweeping. We have some welding services in there, and then janitorial, both for the mutuals and for GRF facilities. We handle all the janitorial within the village, and then we have our transportation department in 970. So the fixed route system, the journey system, our boost or the lift program is all under transportation. And then we oversee fleet maintenance as well. So, we got 2 shifts, a morning shift and a swing shift that service all our vehicles so that when the guys come in, the cars are ready to go. And then we have some, this is kind of an overview of our budget as well. We have some funding in the service center and the community center for some maintenance type items.
Okay.
And then One thing I really wanted to stress in talking about the accomplishments is, since in the 9 months I've been here, I've been really impressed and really happy with the staff and how much they care and how much they're trying to do a good job. So we'll see throughout the presentation here, we'll see that and how the staff have really been able to accomplish some great things for the village. So I'm really pleased, been really pleased with that. This slide here, just a quick overview on our department revenue. We're not a huge revenue generating department, but we try to be creative. So just a couple examples on here. The third line item down there, we have the Arizona Pipeline agreement, and that's just a local company here, Arizona Pipeline, that does underground service for Edison currently. They needed some rental space, and we had some space over at the yard, and they're paying us the $33,000 a year just to store some of their equipment. It's space that we weren't really using. And you'll see in here a couple items related to Agewell parking agreement, $26,000. And again, just a little extra space that we had. Agewell needed room to park their buses. So we allow them to do that. They pay us $26,000 a year. Makes it a little more crowded for us, but we manage, and that's some good revenue for the village. And then you'll see a couple more items in here related to Agewell. The Agewell fuel admin fee. So Agewell, since they park their buses at our lot, they also fuel the buses there. So we give them a discounted rate on the fuel that we buy. We don't supplement it at all. They pay 100% for the fuel, and then we charge them a fuel admin fee. So we share the admin costs with them, the cost of the fuel island and the maintenance and all that. And on top of that, so we get an extra $10,000, almost $11,000 a year, just for allowing them to use our pumps. So it's just wanted to highlight some of those high points there.
Yep, that's great. That's great. And then so you have a waste and recycling program that we had talked about the last time you were on with CR&R. And you want to talk to us a little bit about some of those things.
Right, yeah. So again, we feel this is a big accomplishment for our department in 2022, transitioning to a new hauler from waste management to CR&R. Anytime you do that, it's a huge undertaking. Right. And it wasn't, they're never smooth. It wasn't as smooth as we had liked, but, we worked and the staff got the program working much smoother now. We implemented a new organics recycling program in response to Senate Bill 1383. So, we have, carts placed throughout the village. I'll get into more on that in a little bit. We implemented new, more efficient bulky item collection programs. So instead of only being able to put your bulky items out once a month, you could do it once a week on your trash day. Yeah. So that's a big benefit at no additional cost there. And then we're coordinating the replacement of tall bins with low profile bins. And when CR&R took over the contract, they bought the trash bins that were available on the market. And they're a little bit taller and a little bit less convenient for residents to reach in there. So we did get some complaints on that. So what CR&R did is they went out and bought all their raw material, sheet metal, casters, lids, and started welding and putting their own bins together.
Interesting, okay.
And we had a list of residents who had called for those low profile bins, and we rolled them out into the community to make it more convenient for residents. So that took some work.
Do they like them better?
They like them better. They're much more convenient.
Okay.
Also in the spring, we got our results for the waste evaluation. So basically the results on, are we doing our due diligence in recycling? Are we being effective with our recycling programs? Yeah. So, and we're, especially for the organics program being new, we're doing pretty good.
Oh, that's
great. So that was good to hear.
Good, okay, perfect. And then the organics recycling program, which is something I know we had talked about, because a lot of people, they have that little bin that they can use, right? And we'll talk a little bit about that in the next slide because of the bags. But go ahead and tell me about the actual program itself. Right,
so Senate Bill 1383, it requires the cities to reduce organic waste disposal by 75% by the year 2025. So that's a big goal. So in response to that, we placed 220 organic carts throughout the community, and they're serviced on Wednesdays. And then one of the questions that we get, Lisa, quite often is related to the yard clippings. because what we'll see is residents will do their gardening and then they'll fill the bin with their yard clippings, and then other residents can't deposit their organics. So what we're strongly encouraging is if you have a small shovel or so of yard clippings, go ahead and put those in the organics cart. But if you have more than that, if you have some that can be picked up by landscape services, we're really encouraging residents to call in to resident services and schedule a Friday clippings pickup.
Okay.
And yes, and our landscape department will come, pick up all those clippings, and then they process them, and then they reuse them throughout the community. So it's a closed system. None of it goes to the landfill. It's a great program. And then that leaves room for your neighbors to put their organics in the cart.
Okay.
And then another thing we're doing in response to the organics program is we're developing a multi-story trash enclosure cleaning program. One thing with organics is, if people miss, they put them in the bin, they fall on the floor. It is a little bit of a dirty process, so we were noticing that. And especially in the enclosed trash enclosures, anytime you have anything, any odors, they're gonna hang out in that trash enclosure. And so we're implementing a program. We're gonna be kicking it off in January, an annual pressure washing of those multi-story trash enclosures. Do a good thorough dusting and web removal, and then also do a good inspections of the carts and the bins. So that's another problem we have. If there's a cracked cart and it's leaking, that's going to create a mess on the floor.
Right. Okay.
And then just another reminder for residents, if there's a missed pickup or a full bin and there's any type of problem, feel free to email CR&R at Laguna Woods Recycles at crnrmail.com or call the phone number on the screen there.
Perfect. And then let's touch quickly on the compostable bags, because I want to make sure we get to transportation in the time that we have. So the bags we talked about last time were these really cool little bags that you said degrade to humus and CO2 and water within 180 days, which is awesome.
Right.
So where are they available?
Right. So you can get them online currently on Amazon.com, HomeDepot.com, similar websites. And the thing I really want to stress about the compostable bags is, the organics recycling, it can get a little messy. There are odors involved. So we really strongly encourage the use of compostable bags.
Yeah.
Seal them up, drop them in the bin, and help make it cleaner.
And only those, because otherwise they're really not 100% compostable.
Correct.
All right, transportation. There was a lot of town halls regarding what was going on with that, with age well. So tell me about what happened.
Correct, yeah. So we had the age well proposal that the village was considering. We had 3 age well transportation informational sessions that residents were invited to come and attend. So that took some effort on behalf of staff, and then we completed a age well proposal analysis, basically just to review the pros and cons of the proposal and shared information with the GRF in regards to that.
Okay, great. And then the next slide will show a little bit of what that proposal analysis looked like, and you can just give us a brief overview of what you found.
Right. So just in general, we wanted to make sure we did a good analysis to present. So we had a group of VMS employees evaluate the proposal. We did a cost comparison. We looked at the all-inclusive cost of vehicle maintenance and capital costs, insurance and liability costs, and just made sure we did a good top-to-bottom review so that the board had the information they needed to make a decision.
And the overall decision was that it really wasn't going to work out going with age well, so you made some modifications with our own transportation. Yeah,
so the decision was we're going to stick with the status quo. Again, we currently have the fixed route system, the journey, the program, and the lift, and we're going to continue to monitor it. And, it's right there by my office. If I hear anything going wrong, I'm within an earshot to go out and talk to somebody, quality control, that type of thing. Okay. So we're going to continue with that.
Excellent. And then tell me about when you took a look at all of the different types of vehicles that we were using. I mean, there was some, you call it right sizing assessment. What does that mean?
Right. So we did a right sizing assessment. So, as our organization changes in size, as functions change, it's always a good idea to take a look at your fleet, right? You don't want to have too many cars. You want to make sure you have the right vehicles, and not only cars, pieces of equipment. You know, we have 260 vehicles roughly and about 160 specialty pieces of equipment. So we want to make sure we have the right number of equipment to do the job and in the right pieces, right? So what we found with the fleet right-sizing assessment, we identified 11 vehicles that can be eliminated over the next 4 years with an estimated savings of $478,000.
Wow.
We identified 10 vehicles that can be downgraded to a different class of vehicle. So for example, an F-250 big 3/4 ton truck with a lot of towing capacity, we identified some of those that can be downgraded to a smaller Ford Ranger, more efficient, you know, less gas expense, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And then we identified 6 vehicles that can be pooled with other work centers and repurposed with an estimated savings of $38,000. So,
that's great.
yeah, over $600,000 over the next 4 years.
Wow.
And then we're committing through our vehicle replacement policy to complete this exercise every 2 years.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That's a great idea. And then streets and sidewalks, there's some changes that happen there.
Right, just some projects that Streets and Sidewalks worked on. They worked on the Calle Sonora project, including red curb painting and a new sign installation. You may be familiar with the golf cart path improvements over by Clubhouse 7 and Gate 7. And then we secured funding to relocate 40 benches throughout the community to benefit our vision impaired residents.
Okay.
So we're going to get started on that project here pretty soon as well.
That's great. And then one last thing, you've got janitorial, but I love it, 100% of ticket requests within 20 days.
Right, this is another great work center. I mean, we get requests come in, residents, you know, there's a spill or something that's, you know, needs to be addressed right away, and these guys jump on it. You know, really responsive, really proud of all of our custodians. As you mentioned, they've completed 100% of the ticket requests within 20 days.
Yeah.
An average of 1 day response time.
Right.
And then, as I mentioned, we're implementing the multi-story trash enclosure program. That's going to be through our custodians, and real proud of these guys and the job that they do for the village.
Great. Well, good job for the first, what is it, 9 months that you've been
9
here?
months. Been here 9 months.
Good job. Well, I think you've done a great job. Thank you so much for
I
the information.
appreciate that. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. And if you have any questions or comments about the information that we've shared with you, you can always send an email to generalmanager@vmsinc.org, and it will be directed to the appropriate person. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Doug Phillips, who is a patient of RadNet, and he had the Tulsa procedure. Well, welcome, Doug. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Very good. And I'm really happy that we got to talk with you. We talked to Paul Colacchio before, and evidently you are the first patient of RadNet that's been interviewed here. So I love it in regards to, of course, the Tulsa procedure. But before we really get talking about the procedure and diagnosis, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 69 years old. When I had the procedure, it was a few months ago, I was 68. I'm an executive at a outdoor furniture business. And I was diagnosed with first stage prostate cancer earlier at the end of last year.
The end of last year. Would you say you're a pretty active person?
Yes, very active.
Okay.
I exercise regularly and travel and.
Okay. And you know, I ask that because I think a lot of people think, oh, it's not going to happen to me, right? I mean, we're very active. We do lots of things. We watch our food intake and all these other things, yet you can still be diagnosed with something like this. So that's why I wanted to know what your background was. And you said you were diagnosed late last year.
Yes.
How did you feel when it's stage 1? So thank goodness it was caught at that particular time.
Right. Yeah. I didn't feel anything. It was just the concern about my PSA level fluctuating in a way that my GP didn't like. So he sent me to a urologist who kind of looked after me for a couple months and decided that we should do a prostate MRI, which I did. And that showed that I had a couple small spots. And then they did a biopsy on those. And that's when it became apparent that it was malignant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it shocking to you?
Well, I not 100% because I have a family history of prostate cancer.
Okay.
So I watch, I've been monitoring my PSA levels for quite a while. And so it wasn't an utter shock.
So when you found out, and then obviously there were next steps that you went through in deciding on whether or not to go through with the procedures and things like that, how did that process go?
Well, my urologist told me, the different options. One was to have the prostate removed. And then the other would be to just kind of monitor it and watch it over time. And then he mentioned to me that there's a relatively new procedure called the Tulsa procedure, which in my case could just pinpoint the exact spots, and they call it ablation. And it's called transurethral ablation. So they go in and they ablate or burn the spots away.
Right.
And I was very happy to hear that it could be a partial ablation, that they didn't have to ablate the entire prostate gland.
Okay.
Which was also an option. But in my case, they recommended just the partial ablation and then to watch it. So I was very pleased to know that there was a less invasive alternative.
And then you were out for that procedure?
Yes, you're put under anesthesia for the procedure.
Okay. And then what was your recovery like?
It was very fast. It was an outpatient procedure. I went home the same day. I had to wear a catheter for approximately 10 days, which wasn't that bad. And then I went back to the urologist. They took out the catheter, and that was the end. Now they just monitor my PSA level, and then a year from the procedure, I'll have another MRI, and then they'll see that how everything's looking. But normally the prognosis is very good with this procedure. They don't see recurrence, especially when you catch it in the early stages. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Exactly. Now, you mentioned you were probably laid up for about 10 days because you had the catheter. So immediately after the catheter was removed, were you able to resume all of your normal activities?
Actually, I wasn't laid up at all because with the catheter, you can walk around and they give you the kind that you can be mobile with. So I just was back to work the next day.
Wow.
Yeah, there was no recovery at all.
Wow.
Yeah, I just had to take some pills.
Right. Isn't it great though? I mean, I think technology has really made so many strides, and we're certainly benefiting from that right now with, especially since you were diagnosed at an early stage, which I know the Tulsa you can only use, I believe, at early stages. You can't use it once you're past a certain stage. So thank goodness you guys caught it. You were obviously aware that you had it in your family. So, good for you and your doctor to be able to get to it right away.
Exactly.
That is awesome. So now, would you recommend other people look into this if they're also in the same situation?
Oh, absolutely, because it's the least invasive procedure you can have. And, as opposed to surgery, which is, the removal of the of the gland. And then that has all kinds of side effects. When you have this procedure, you can resume a normal sex life. You don't have urinary issues that often happen after surgery. So I would highly recommend it.
That is awesome. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank
and
you.
Good luck on the rest of the year until next year. We're hoping that it still maintains a negative aspect.
I agree. Thank you very much.
All right, Doug, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And if you want more information about the TOSA procedure or any of the procedures or treatments that RadNet has, you can always go to radnet.com. We'll be right back.
Who is RadNet? You've probably heard our name and seen our commercials, but you still might not know who we are. RadNet is the largest provider of outpatient imaging services in the United States, with over 8,000 employees and almost 400 imaging centers in 7 states. Likely, if you have had diagnostic imaging, you have experienced RadNet's high-quality, cost-effective imaging services. With 35 years of expertise, RadNet is leading into the future with advanced technology and the very latest AI technology. We are positioned for the future of healthcare. RadNet, leading radiology forward.
We have a few activities that we wanted to share with you. First off is we have the Deluxe Nightclub is having a dance party. It's called the Witching Halloween Dance. It's going to be at Clubhouse 5, and that'll be tomorrow night at 1026 from 6:30 to 9:30. You can call Ray at 949-613-4630. Then we also have the Comedy Club that's coming up on Thursday. They are going to have Andy Hendrickson, and that'll be at Clubhouse 5. And so enjoy that on Thursday night at the Comedy Club. And then one last thing I wanted to mention is that the Prescription Take-Back Day is October 29th, and that is going to be from 10 to 2 p.m., and that will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at St. Nicholas Catholic Church. And of course, these are your extra uses of your any type of medication that comes in those little bottles. You can bring those on in. And of course, if you want more information, you can always go to the Sheriff's Department. They have the information on their website. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather one last time. It's looking quite nice, a little on the chilly side for the evenings, but pleasant during the day. We are looking at temperatures in the 70s this week, 75, 58, 72, 57, 73, 58, again, 73, 58, and 75, 59. And if you want to rewatch our programs, you can always do that at 12:30 and 5 every day, Monday through Saturday. Or you could visit our YouTube channel, which is Village Television, and you can see any of our programming that we do here for Channel 6 Village Television. Have a great day in the Village. We'll see you again tomorrow right here at 9 a.m. Bye-bye.